Hey everybody, it's your old pal Brian Hunt. Welcome to another episode of 60 Seconds of Risk. Today I'm coming from Austin, Texas. As you can see, some beautiful skyline and some construction projects, and this town keeps on growing like a weed. There's plenty of activity in commercial development and construction. So thought it'd be a great place to talk to you about the concept that a lot of construction firms don't necessarily think about, especially when they're smaller, but they need to know, think about it a lot, is this. Do you need management liability coverage? And I would argue, yes. Let's talk about it. When you're a smaller firm, maybe you don't necessarily think you have a big exposure or a big book of business, your balance sheet isn't that large. But when you start getting bigger, you start having more employees, you start more officers and directors, then you've got a lot more people who can make some bad decisions on your behalf. That's the point of management liability, is to protect your balance sheet from those sort of things that could possibly occur. As we talk about insurance, plan for the worst and hope for the best, to protect your balance sheet. Now, on smaller firms, what you have is the luxury of a management liability policy is to combine different types of coverage into place. So you might have the ability to get a directors and officers coverage and put that with a fiduciary / crime policy, and maybe even add like some kidnap and ransom travel insurance as well. But you might be sitting there saying, hey, why do I need management liability? I'm a small firm. I don't need that. Or I'm a privately held. Well, unfortunately, that's a really bad misconception that people have in the industry and think, oh, if I'm privately held, I have no exposure. I don't need management liability. I would argue strenuously you flat out need management liability. The more you get, the bigger you get, the more complex your projects are, you need that coverage to protect your balance sheet. I'll give you a couple examples. Management liability actually has a couple different coverages. Let's talk D&O, directors and officers. Well, if you're privately held, I don't have the responsibility for the market. I'm not reporting to the street. Why do I worry about D&O? Well, you might need D&O specifically. Like, give you an example. Your CFO signs off on an application to the bank, and there's either errors or omissions or just flat out fraudulent activity where he doesn't say, it's not a proper representation of your balance sheet, and he signs off on a document that goes to the bank, and the bank relies upon that for the granting of a loan or line of credit. Well, they could come back at you based upon that what the actions that occurred on the CFO. That's a classic example of why a privately held firm might need D&O. Also, with a management liability, you might have coverage, say, for employment practice liability, EPL. In this world, it only takes one employee to say something proper and say something inadvertent or improper, make a bad comment, a bad joke to one of your employees, and now you got a hostile work environment. That's why you need EPL from a privately held firm to protect your balance sheet from the actions of some of your managers or officers who might do something inappropriately that makes someone feel uncomfortable. Sexual harassment, improper hiring, discrimination, that's what you need EPL. And also with a management liability, if you do overseas travels, you can tack on kidnap and ransom. Especially like, say, in construction, a lot of people like to go travel to, say, Guatemala or Costa Rica and do fishing trips. Well, that's an environment you can easily get kidnapped. Your officers or your clients or get kidnapped. That's what you want coverage for kidnap and ransom, which is an add-on or selection on the management liability. So please, just because you're a privately held firm does not mean you don't need management liability. The bigger you get, the more employees you get, the larger, more complex projects you get, the larger your exposure you have. And these are the kind of things that aren't picked up by your general liability policy. That's why you need a specific management liability policy. As always, I hope you found this beneficial and helpful and useful. As anything, if you want to see a certain topic or individual on my program, please let me know on LinkedIn. Leave a comment. You can always subscribe to my channel on YouTube. And you can also find links to these videos on Twitter. Until next time, guys.